Okay, welcome back to your first Chrono Trigger speedrun. We left off and we were gonna go ahead to see Ayla, so we're just gonna go right to it. This one down here is our 65 million BC portal. You're gonna pop in here and immediately be in a fight, and this fight can get you if you're not careful. What's gonna happen is these reptites like to put you to sleep. They're pretty physically resistant, but they are weak to shadow. And even though Robo doesn't have magic, he has something called laser spin, and his laser stuff is all shadow based. So on PC, inputs, especially like side inputs on the D-pad, are a little delayed. So we're going to use an animation again to give us a little more time to get into the menu. So what's going to happen is Chrono's going to get first ATB. You're going to wait until Robo gets his ATB, and then you're going to attack with Chrono. And while the animation of Chrono coming down and attacking happens, you pop into Robo's tech menu to get laser spin. If you don't do this right, if you're too slow, they start putting you to sleep, and it can be devastating. So yeah, so you really want that attack animation to do it. All right, attack. And then as you see, like once he starts attacking, we are on wait. And so we have time to get into the menu. And it's a good thing we did because we didn't heal. I should have mentioned, I forgot to mention, when we go see Melchior, the little imps that we come out of their cupboard, there is a cake you can eat there that will restore MP and HP. It's a little bit like a couple second time loss, so I don't do it anymore, but it is a nice safety thing, especially if you didn't have time to, or if you didn't end Mazimune with like everybody more healed up. All right, so we're gonna hit laser spin, and that will kill. All right, have we had a cutscene yet? I don't think we had. So the PC version has these cool PS1 cutscenes. Unfortunately, they are time lost because you can skip them, and so to skip them, you hit your cancel button. And so this is where one of them happens here when Ayla comes in. So you just kind of mash your cancel button, and then they'll come in, and then you'll have another reptite fight here. You can do it the same way where Chrono attacks first, but now at least we know Robo's on tech, so we don't have to go over and down to get into tech. We can just go over once. So I find it's pretty free to just bump over to Robo and do it. But if you when you're still learning, it is a nice thing that you can use Chrono's attack animation to get it done. All right, here we go. Yeah, there you go. Just like that. It's pretty fast, but since you know you just set it on tech, it's just like a over and then mash, mash, mash. Here's another naming thing here. So if you're turboing, just remember that the naming thing comes pretty quick for Ayla right here. And at this point, you can toggle turbo and wait it out because you got a little bit of dialogue here while she examines everybody and y'all agree to go see her in her hut or her village. All right, as soon as that's over, you want to beat her to the screen. The screen is timed. You're going to try to grab that chest. That chest sucks. And this is what happens if you don't get that chest soon enough. This is an extra encounter. Let's try that again. On Manip, it's like very important that you get that you don't get that encounter. Yeah, so we're going to come down here. We're going to try to like... Okay, we just missed it. So there's a point where they're running up and down, And at some point they like tag to the right, and so you have to get the timing right for that to work. Does it show it here? Okay, I want to see if we can play with this a bit. So what is the timing here? So the safe thing would be to grab the chest and then wait, maybe till they get to the top and then come down. Yeah, that's the way to go. So you see this guy, like this right one tagging to the right like that? That's what can trigger the encounter even though you're fully on the right. So you want to avoid that part. And why? Because here we have to take this encounter and they're going to come and be a part of this encounter. Also, oh, I should mention here, let's do this again. You should try to set wind slash here. It's not required. It's just a nicety. All right, let's wait for them to come up to the top again. Okay, and I think this works, yeah. So here we're gonna set wind slash. So what do I mean by that? It means we're gonna be escaping, but we wanna get Chrono back on tech, and he's already default on wind slash on tech, just we wanna put him in his tech menu. If you weren't escaping, it would mean he was gonna wind slash right now, but since we're escaping, it's not gonna actually do the action, it's just saving it for next time. It's not gonna use MP or do anything yet. So it's kind of quick, but gonna do this, and then as soon as we're in the menu here, you can hit auto battle and then do that, and then it'll escape. I could probably try to slow that down as well for instant replay. We'll see. The menu here, you can hit auto battle and then do that, and then it'll escape. This one's easy, we just kind of go around those guys and then go around these guys. That first one doesn't look like you can go around it, but you can totally just slide around it. So we're skipping all the huts, we're just coming up to this hut on the left, the chief's hut. Talk to Ayla, and then she'll have a little party. Now, it is imperative you do not bring Marley to this party for some reason. To make this fast, all we have to do is you don't talk to Luca, you just gotta talk to Robo, and then he will sit down and get up and dance 4 times. When he's done, he will just be standing there waiting, and then you just talk to him one more time, and then go talk to Ayla, and we're on to the next part. All right, so he'll say, "This food contains immeasurable impurities." You pop over here, Turbo and Ayla, and we're on to the soup drinking contest. We just got to Turbo through the rest of this. Now, if you bring Marley, unfortunately, it's not that easy, and she just, you have to get her to like dance, and she'll come around here and dance. You got to keep talking to her and dance, and it's really long, drawn out thing. So very important that we don't have Marley in here. On this route, we don't put Marley in the party and for any of this anyway, so it's fine. But if for some reason you wanted to have Marley in here, it's not a good idea on the speedrun. There are routes where we use Marley and we take her out of the party just for this, for that reason. So, all right, standard stuff. Soup hangover, too much soup, and our gate key's missing, so we're gonna go talk to Ayla. As soon as you leave the room, I tend to take toggle turbo off, and then I'm gonna pop over to Ayla. She's gonna have a dialogue at first that's like ZZZ because she's sleeping. And if you just stand there, you're just gonna keep getting that dialogue, and so you wanna get up to her as soon as you can. She's gonna immediately say, "Hey, I'm gonna join your party," and you wanna switch in Luca for Robo. And unfortunately, we don't really listen to Ayla's song very much. We're just popping right into the Forest Maze. And we're going to talk to Kino. Toggle Turbo works great here. Okay. I guess I should mention some of this stuff. So, for those of you that like to get extra chests, this is a speedrun. Do not get any extra chests in here. There are encounters, and there's an encounter down here if you try to take that chest. And then here, if you go too far down, there's an encounter. So we're gonna just kind of slide across the bridge. We're coming up over here. You're gonna come down here, and then you want to slide to the right. And then you just kind of, yeah, we're gonna slide to the right, and then I kind of just like let the terrain move me. So as you see down here, the terrain will kind of move me down here. You can go straight down here, and then as you're hitting this, it does kind of slow you down if you're holding down, but if you hit the diagonal, it speeds up a little bit. And so yeah, then we're coming up onto the loft here. There's no encounters here until right here. So you want to make sure you're right. You want to be right in this spot to avoid the encounter. I believe it's to the left here. And then no encounters here, coming down over here. All right, so here, there's an encounter like right to the right of this vine. We come up here to avoid it, but it's not very close to there. And but yeah, it's mainly just kind of walking around it here. So right here, and we go down the vine, and then we're through the zone. So that's a pretty quick zone with no encounters. It's pretty easy to do. Reptile lair, we're coming in, and we're gonna go down some holes. Immediately just kind of avoid that guy, and we're gonna go down this hole. Now the next two holes start encounters. Oh yeah, in this case I am going to heal Robo because he's very low. Not for this encounter as much as the next encounter. So we're gonna try to go down the hole, but it's gonna start the encounter. If you did Wind Slash, you can turbo with Ayla and Chrono. If not, there's a... So Ayla's going to start beating Chrono here as first ATB. And so if you didn't set Wind Slash, you would just hit attack with Ayla and then down to tech, and then Wind Slash with Chrono, and then auto battle for Robo. But now this next fight, since Chrono's on tech still, we can immediately kind of pop over to Chrono's tech menu and hit lightning, because these guys are weak to lightning. Yeah, these guys in particular. So what's going to happen is we're going to pop in, we're going to pop over to Chrono's tech menu, lightning, and then auto battle. Because lightning will stun these guys and weaken them. And so he won't do anything after that, but he will hit somebody in the process. His first hit will get off. And so that's why I healed Robo, in case he hits Robo. So over to lightning. And then we just auto battle it out. Okay. This next room has a timing thing, but it's not required. You just got to be careful. If you don't want any encounters, you just got to avoid the mobs. We do need a chest down here that's a stone helm. So as I come into this hole, I tend to like hold down and then slightly diagonal for a little bit and then straight down to get the chest. And then if you get that timing right, you can hold directly right and avoid all the encounters. Otherwise, you're going to be zigzagging around trying to avoid the encounters because they're moving all around. See if we can get it. First try. All right, so I'm holding down. I'm going to go slight diagonal, hop over, and then hold left. And then we're up to there. Okay. This next part, you have to... The second you pop into this room, you're going to get an encounter. And so you have to hold up left to avoid it. And in fact, if you screw up the screen and you said, oh, I'll just do autosave, the autosave loads you right into the encounter. So you have one chance at this. But I think you can escape the encounter anyway, so it's fine. So yeah, we're popping in here. We're going to hold up left, and then you're going to come all the way up over here. you can kind of come over here, and then as soon as that monkey turns back this way, you can just go up all the way. So there's a little bit of a wait period like up there before the monkey turns around. This one we just escaped, that's fine. He's in the way. And then we have save point. So this is save point before the boss, and we have a bit of an equip menu here. So we're gonna pop in and equip on Ayla. I like to practice this menu because it's a little convoluted, but we're gonna give her the padded vest, mostly to take the ruby vest off her. We're gonna give her a berserker ring, and now we have 2 berserker rings because I grabbed the other one on the way to see Ayla. And so we're gonna take full advantage of that. Rowa's gonna get berserker ring again. And then we're gonna LB back to Chrono, and then we're giving him all new gear. So Stone Helm, Ruby Vest, Power Scar. Or sorry, no, that's Manip. Silver Earring. So Silver Earring will give him the 25% boost on max HP. Yeah, on Manip we don't have the Silver Earring, so I use the Power Scarf. So just FYI. And then we're gonna pop out, back in, and shelter. And there you go. So Nizbel fight is on the next screen. On Glitchless, how you do this fight is you expect Robo to die. What's going to happen is you're going to lightning Nizbel. You're going to auto battle twice with Chrono. And then he's going to output. And that will do a lot of damage to everybody. And so at that point, you lightning with Chrono again. And then you have to start healing Ayla and Chrono. We don't have enough time to heal Robo 2, and that's why he dies on the second lightning output. But the key is whether we're going to have a 2-round lightning output or a 3-round lightning output. And you have to count Ayla's crits. Some say 2 crits. If you get 2 crits in the first 2 rounds, you're safe. I've had that where it under damages, so you still got to be careful. So I like to say if it's 3 Ayla crits, then you can just, on the 3rd round, you lightning and you auto battle, even though you're low health. If you're wrong, the 3rd output will kill everybody, and you have to do the fight again. So, so the safety strat, of course, is just to go for the 3-round, have Chrono heal both rounds, both the 2nd and 3rd round, and then you'll easily finish the fight with another lightning. So let's see how Nizbel's feeling today with the RNG. Here, it doesn't matter what you say to Azala, you just turbo right through it. Alright, so we're gonna do lightning. This lowers his defense so that we can kind of get some damage in. There's 1 auto battle on Chrono. There's 1 crit. Alright, so now we're gonna watch auto battle take it off before Chrono's turn because we got another lightning here with the output. So now we gotta have actually lightning. There's 2 crits. And then we gotta be quick and heal either Chrono or Ayla. Alright, there's the other discharge. We only had 2 crits, so I'm not gonna take any. Oh, there's another crit. Tough call. Let's see what happens if we don't heal, if we can still make this work. Because see, Robo's dead, so it's just Chrono and Ayla that can finish this fight off. Oh, she got another crit, so I think we're fine. Oh, another crit! Okay, we're fine. So she's kind of a crit machine. But yeah, if you like had 1 crit or, you know, or just 2 crits or 0 crits in those first couple rounds, then you want to play it safe and heal up Chrono and Ayla once again before the next output instead of auto battling. It's probably safer to heal Chrono first, but if you feel fast, you can heal Ayla first, and I like that because then I can kind of almost turbo the mid potion onto Chrono the second time. Why do I say it's safer to heal Chrono first? Because he's the one who's not in Berserk. So if Chrono dies on the next output, you're kind of SOL because nobody's going to lightning, and Ayla's just going to blindly attack, and it's not going to do a lot of damage, and she's going to eventually die anyway. So, all right, so we can turbo through here. And then we'll get our gatekeep back. Ayla will say, you know, she'll give us the red stone, all that stuff, and say, hey, come back next time. And so as you're leaving this room, you can avoid a single text box by holding diagonal and then down, over and down. If you go straight down, there's another one where she's like, come back again, Chrono, or she says something. What is it? Can I see it again? Okay, no, I guess you can't see it again if you skip it. But yeah, so just there's a left diagonal thing just for a quick dialogue skip. All right, coming through here, we can avoid these guys again, but we can't avoid these guys. And so since these guys join that encounter, there's a quick little mini optimization here. You can, if you walk up to these guys from the bottom, I think it's just them in the encounter. But if you walk up past them and then from the bottom you get them, oh yeah, see, that's what happens if you get them from the bottom. So let's see from the top. So if you come over here and then you do that, you get the full encounter. So, all right, and then yeah, Robo's gonna be 1 health because he just died on the last fight. That's fine. This is also a spot here where I have it kind of burned into my memory. Take Berserker off Robo here, and so we put Power Glove on him this time. Actually, is that what the notes say? I think the notes might have changed that. Let's see. Yeah, Power Glove, okay. And then you do still have to skip these guys. And so yeah, you can kind of wait it out there if you need to avoid that right ding that they like to do. Up the cliff and then down into the portal, and we're out of here. Okay, do not go immediately to Frog. We still have to make a sword. So back to Melchior first. Also note, if you didn't eat the cake here before, don't eat it here because it's time loss. Because you're going to stay the night with Frog after you make the sword, so you're going to get full health anyway. Okay, we're going to come up to Melchior. He's going to say, all right, we got to do this thing. Luca's going to go help him. And so this next screen, you can just like let it ride and just turbo it out, but it's faster if you can push on Melchior and Luca at certain spots. What do I mean by push on? I don't mean like turbo. I mean like you kind of rub up against them. And I don't know, I think we can show what it's like. So let's see. So if we stand here in turbo, let's see how long he takes. So, okay, that was like 7 nods. And then he's gonna get the sword ready. He's gonna wait a little bit. Luca's gonna move. Luca's coming back into place. He calls Luca over. And then they finish their work. Okay, so let's see what that looks like if we start pushing. I think it's just an optimization, so you can take this as a break, and instead of doing this, but this does speed things up. So we're gonna come up here, and then as soon as he gets over here, we're gonna push on him, and he immediately moves. See that? There is some turboing here, and then we're gonna push on him once he goes for the sword, and he'll grab the sword a little faster. I like to push on him here, and then as soon as Luca moves, I push on her. She moves. Push on him again. And then you gotta move out of the way to turbo because you'll just keep turboing. And then push on Luca, she'll grab the ruby faster. Alright, and then we're just like immediately into this. So you can see how much faster that seems. You're saving seconds here, but it's not a huge deal. If you do need a break, you can just turbo it out, and you're just gonna, lose a couple seconds. It's totally fine. That being said, we are gonna get some major cutscene breaks coming up, so there is a good cause for just making that work instead of taking the break there. We have the new Mazamine sword. Alright, so now, and only now, can we go back to Frog. This is where we're going to do our last bird skip as well. And then, yeah, I think instead of like having the cutscenes and waiting through the cutscenes in these videos, I'm just going to skip them, so... Alright, so here's bird skip. Looks good. Can't believe I didn't get bird skip on the first one on my hotfix run. That was a little annoying. Anyways, we're all the way down to Frog. Same pathing coming through here. And then we're going to hit the cutscenes here. Alright, that's where I'm going to stop this video for now. Next video will be Magus's Castle. We'll see if we can do a full-on Magus's Castle video. I think that'll be a good way to go. So, see you then.